Here is my modified versions of LEGO's new 42128 heavy-duty tow truck set. The set was just released yesterday, so the instructions were made available online for the first time. So I built it yesterday out of my generic collection using the parts I already had to see what this set is like. So just because of the parts I had on hand, I had to start off with a few modifications. I had to get rid of all the 11 and 15 long alternating pinhole beams. I had to use the old pneumatic pump, and I had to use old pneumatic valves, and I also had to use these tires back here. Beyond that, and the inevitable color changes, I've made a few other more important mods. I've added a motorized compressor and an air tank, and also changed the ratio of the steering. So I'll start taking off the roof here to start showing you how my thought process works here. Alright, so on the original set, right down here, we had a 22 skier and a 12-2 skier, and then a steering shaft going straight up to the knob on the roof. So I didn't have room for the gears and the reinforcement with the battery I was putting in here, and in reviews I've read, it's been the steering ratio has been already complained of as being too low, like it doesn't need that reduction. So I decided that I might as well just get rid of it, and instead I used this universal joint shaft to move it further back. So this mod made the steering, I guess, a little better to play with, and also freed up some room for these other mods. So then I put in my LEGO rechargeable battery here, secured at the front with this black part, and on the back with just a couple pins with studs there in the panel. It's not a whole lot of attachment, but it's in there pretty tightly, so I think it works well enough. Alright, so then after that, I added this Power Functions large motor facing down, attached on there. And there's a beam down there and some connectors. I think I had to put a longer axle along there to hold some things together. So then from there, I ran an axle down through the O-frame, or right into the O-frame. Then I used this part here to attach the compressor, or the pump, the small 6-long pump. And then it connects from there. It's just connected by a flick missile here. You could use a frictionless 3-long pin as well, but this required less disassembly and works just fine, so I went with that. Then I wired the battery here up to this Power Function switch back here. So you can see I've got it attached. I changed this beam to a L and added these, and then added this here to add a whole bunch more pins. So it's attached reasonably strongly. So if I turn it on, the motor runs. That's the bottom of the compressor there, you can see wiggling. And if you look at the top, you can see it going around there. So I can flip it off there. Also, so when the roof is up, if you want to turn the battery on and off for the main control, you have to open the door, fold back the seat, and then it's a little bit of an awkward reach up to there, but it's not too bad, I don't think. So then after that, the final modification I made was to add this pneumatic air tank back here. It's not included in the original set, but a lot of people thought it would be a good modification to add. I'm not exactly sure it's a good idea. I don't know, it does seem to make the functions take a lot longer, but it does work reasonably well with the motorized compressor. I don't know. It's here now, so anyway, they'll show you how I attached it. I just used these parts here to get the right half stud offset to keep it flush against the wall, and it holds it on pretty securely, I think. Also, the manual pump remains fully functional, so you can use it all you want if you don't want to run the motor. They work in tandem. And finally, it should be noted that you don't have to use the Power Function rechargeable battery I used here. I don't know if you could use the AAA powered up hub. I think you might have your wire sticking out the top, and I guess You'd have to do a little different solution to fit a powered up L motor here, but it shouldn't be too hard. It's entirely possible. But beyond that, you can I think you could pretty easily put in a old 9-volt train battery, a AAA Power Functions battery, a Buiz, or one of the Chinese power supplies that have been more popular lately, like the Kata or Mold King ones. I think they should all fit in there. Any of the 4x8 batteries should fit fine. So, I'm pretty happy with the way this mod turned out. I'll show you it working in a minute. Alright, so I'm starting with a full air tank here, so the boom moves very rapidly up and down. Extension is a lot slower. It's also because different ages, and there's differences between the cylinders. And back here, now I think the air tank might be depleted. I'll pump it a little manually. There, back up now. So, not sure how much more air I have in the tanks. I'm gonna get these winches back into place. Let's see. Oh no, we still got a lot for this lower friction cylinder. Alright, should be pretty much empty now. So, now we'll start at the compressor. Getting rid of the alternating pinhole beams made this a lot weaker, so now it sometimes gets thrown out. Gets lifted up just by its own momentum. Alright, so now I'm going to fire up the compressor and just show you the natural speed without much air to begin with. So, lifting the arm. It's fairly slow. Well, or at least there's a delay because of the air tank. Extending the arm. Retracting the arm. See, it's actually this cylinder here and the one back here are both Mold King brand cylinders that I bought. They're much cheaper than the Lego ones. Whereas this one here is a Lego one that I got years ago from my Mercedes-Benz Aerox set. So it does have some age in it, but it performs noticeably slower. It's a lot less smooth than the other ones that I bought recently. Not sure if it comes down to their manufacturing or just their age, but it's a notable difference. Alright, this one is taking a while to get the pressure to come back up. Seems to work that way in the original set too, but a lot of pressure needs to be built up. Yep, it is taking a long time. I almost wonder if my old 6L pneumatic pump from that same Aerox set is worn out enough that it can't supply the pressure we need. But if I get rid of the initial friction, it does come right up, so I guess these little cylinders are just a little sticky. But anyways, it's just showing that it does work. And yeah, so these modifications weren't all that difficult to make, but I think they do make the set a fair bit more enjoyable to play with. So including that air tank or not is probably debatable. Probably different people will have different preferences. I don't know if you'll be able to replicate them from this video, but I do have some images available online. I don't know. But that's all for now.